How much joy do you let yourself have in your life? I mean, really, how much real, sheer, just overflowing joy do you allow yourself to have? I'm not talking about contentment. I'm not talking about complacency or neutral. I'm talking about real joy. And what does this have to do with living your dream? My name is Felicia Searcy, your Dream Life Activator. It is my joy to be your partner in believing. And in this live, this Facebook Live, I want to help you understand the importance of joy in your life. And what does it have to do with your dream? What does it have to do with moving forward on your dream? And if you're loving this, send me some love in the comments section, and join me on October 30th from 9 to 11:30 Pacific time, where we're going to go deep into the formula of how to create a life that you love, where you can generate and experience more joy. Glad who's ever here. Can't see who knows. Hey, Ellen, I'm doing this and then getting back to our training this afternoon. So when you look at your life, how much joy, if you were to put it on a percentage, a percentage during the day, how much real joy do you allow yourself to experience? How much exuberance, enthusiasm, just sheer all out, oh my gosh, I just love life. How much of that, hey Ian, really good to see you. How much of that do you really allow yourself to experience? When I talk to most people, especially those that come in to work with me, joy seems to be an elusive thing. It's like you have a sense of satisfaction. Many people even think that being at a place of neutrality is a good place to be. But real joy, that's a bit of an elusive thing. In fact, for many people, we just had this, thanks Elena, I was just having this conversation with a group of my clients, that real joy is actually kind of a scary thing on a long-term consistent basis. You have to be vulnerable. You have to let go of the hypervigilance. You have to somehow make yourself possibly accessible to even more disappointment. The higher you go, the lower you fall, is oftentimes what I hear. But what if I told you that joy is your natural state? Being in a state of joy is the way that you are created. I'm not saying that you're normal. Normal and natural are two very different things. I'm talking about the way you were designed. When you think about it, your body thrives in the state of joy. Your immune system gets kicked in, you think more clearly, you have more energy. I mean, if we just looked at your body alone, your body thrives in the state of joy. But yet we have been so wired to keep joy at bay. In this live, I want to help you begin to transform that. If you're resonating with this at all, please drop some comments in the comment section so I know that this is serving you. All right, so why is cultivating joy important? Number one, especially when in relationship to your dream. Number one, joy actually generates courage. That when you are in a place of joy, you see the possibilities in life. You have a much greater degree of confidence that you can take on any new challenges that will come with your dream. Here's the thing about your dream. The very nature of your dream, it means that it's something beyond anything you've ever done or known for yourself before. Inherent in that is an element of the unknown and an element of risk. Hey Larry, really good to see you. If you are functioning from a place of, the opposite of joy, which I looked it up in the dictionary, which is despair, disappointment, sadness, courage and sadness, courage and disappointment, courage and fear, they cannot coexist. You cannot harness the energy required to move forward with your dream when you are cultivating those energies of sadness and disappointment, fear. Now, I am not talking about a spiritual bypass and pretending that everything's hunky-dory, if in fact it may not be. But there's a relationship between staying present for the human experience And even in the human experience, there's some really tough times, because believe me, feels like a really almost like an awkward subject to be talking about when we're in the midst of so much chaos and loss and sadness. This is exactly the time to be in this conversation, because that sadness, that sense of loss, given over to for too long of a length of time, can actually be the thing to hold you back, to squeeze your life. It's like to squeeze you into a very small container of your life. Now more than ever, it is important to cultivate joy, because again, when you start cultivating that energy of joy, which is an expanded energy, I mean, you hear me say the word joy, you can just feel the expansiveness in your whole system. You literally start lighting up different areas of your brain. You think differently. You have access to a whole new level of creativity that allows you to think into possibilities. You have confidence that you can move in bold, potentially, risky ways in the face of facts and conditions that are saying this is not a smart thing to do. You literally magnetize the field around you with positive energy, positive ions that become a magnet for the things that will support you in moving forward. And you see the world through a very different lens, where really, even in the midst of challenging, difficult times, you have access to happiness. You have access to an experience, a life-giving experience, where the conditions are not robbing you of this precious life force that you've been given. And when you experience joy, you experience spirit, you experience the power of the universe. You have access to the stream of intelligence that woke you up this morning, that wove you into existence, that's always feeding you. So joy is an absolutely necessary ingredient. Hey, Rogers, we got the guys in the house today. It is an absolutely necessary ingredient in order for you to harness the power that you possess as a divine son or daughter of this amazing universe. It allows you to harness that power and put it in service to what you would love even more, understanding this is your highest contribution. All right, so how do we cultivate joy? And if you missed the first part, go back and listen to this, because this is really important. And if this is resonating with you, then join me next Friday, October 30th, 9 to 11:30 Pacific time, where we're going to dig deeper into the system of how to create a life that you love in order for you to be able to generate and experience more joy. All right, so how do you generate joy? Well, first of all, understand joy is not something that happens to you. Absolutely, when life is going according to plan and we're in those blissful situations, it's a whole lot easier to generate joy. But I've seen some really unhappy people and some really good experiences. So it's to learn to separate that your joy is dependent on what's going on in the outside world. Come to understand that joy truly is a choice. Understand, number one, joy is a choice. At any given moment, you can consciously and intentionally choose joy. And you can just simply say, in this moment, I get it, that it's not exactly according to plan, or it's not my preference. And in this moment, I am choosing joy. All right, so that's the first thing to cultivate joy, is to understand that it really is a choice, and that you have the capacity to generate it, regardless of what's going on in your outside world. Number two, start simply by repeating the word joy. Say it with me. Joy, joy, joy. If you're really paying attention to what's happening in the physiology of your body, you can feel your body literally expanding. That there's an expanded energy that gets activated, and you feel space, right? You feel a lightness of being. You feel that activation in your heart, where your heart literally starts opening up. All of that is joy. So that's number 2. Number 1, understand that joy is a choice. Number 2, begin to work with the word joy. Number 3, start recognizing what it feels like in your body. And you want to start breathing into that feeling and start normalizing it. Start identifying it and then normalizing it by focusing on when you experience joy in your life, or when you're experiencing joy, and right now we're using the word, and then you want to deepen that sensation. You literally want to train your body to accommodate more joy in your life, to accommodate more joyful energy moving through your system. All right, then number 4, start paying attention to those situations in life that make it easier for you to generate a joyous energy, a joyous experience. Start noticing those things. Like I just got back from a hike. I spent the morning with an amazing community of women, getting ready to get back into it, and took my dog for a hike. That brought me terrific joy. I could feel my whole system expanding. You want to pay attention to those things because you want to make sure you feed yourself with those things. And then number 5, you want to really ground in the reality of who you really are and the life force, this universal life force that wove you into existence, animated you, and woke you up this morning. In order to cultivate joy, you intentionally create and cultivate a richer sense of communion and companionship with the very power that created you. All right, so joy is important because it gives you confidence, it causes you to think creatively, and it gives you the juice that you need to move boldly with potentially risky actions as you're moving towards your dream, having fun all along the way. You cultivate joy by recognizing that joy is a choice, work with the word joy, feel like what it feels like in your body, memorize that feeling so you can bring your attention and focus back to it and cultivate it. Notice those things in your life that activate joy so you can do those more often and pay attention when you're in that experience. And foundational to everything, really begin to cultivate a much deeper sense of communion and companionship and connection with the very energy, this life force energy that animated you, that created you, and that enfolds and just enfolds you all around. Deepen your relationship with that in order to be able to trust the experience of joy as you surrender into that power. All right, so join me October 30th, 9 to 11:30 Pacific time. We're going to dig deeper into the formula of how to create a life that you love in order to experience and create more joy in your life. The registration link is up in the description. Drop comments about what was in this live that really resonated with you, and please feel free to share this with anybody that you think could really benefit from knowing that joy is their natural state. My name is Felicia Searcy, your Dream Life Activator. It is my joy to be your partner in believing your dream is my passion. Mwah! God bless.